Welcome to Press Pause Online. We created Press Pause to give people a space for some moments of quiet and calm in the middle of the day. It's rare in these days that we have these spaces in which we can just stop and drop what we're doing and reconnect with our bodies, with our hearts and minds. And so we are creating this kind of space here together now to just be in the present moment, be with each other. So before we begin, I acknowledge with respect the traditional custodians of my country, land of the Budawang people of the Yuin Nation. And if you know the custodians of the land you are on, please bring their names to mind. I pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging, and am deeply grateful for their care of this land. May we all walk on, respect and care for it together. Now bringing ourselves into this space and time, this one moment, it's nice to stop and kind of appreciate that we have this moment in which to turn toward ourselves and to give ourselves the most important gift we can give ourselves, which is our wholehearted attention. So luckily we are in the position we can do that. It's nice to appreciate that that's a privilege and a gift, and to make the most of it. So find a comfortable position in which to spend the next 20 minutes. You can sit, you can lie down, whatever is going to allow you to really let go of activity. And letting go of activity means letting go of the body's conscious actions, so coming into stillness, and letting go of the body's unconscious actions, which is the holding of any tension in the body that we are unaware of usually. And the places where this tension is stored is usually around the eyes and the forehead, around the mouth and the jaw, around the shoulders and the chest, and also can be in the abdomen and the stomach. So just check in with those places and give your body permission to come into stillness, to let go of whatever is being held. We're also doing the same with our minds. So we are allowing our minds to come to a natural stillness and to let go of whatever might have been preoccupying us before we came together now. Whatever we are worried about returning to when we finish, whatever might be running in the background as some longer-term ongoing concern, all of it will be there in 20 minutes' time, so we can pick right back up where we left off. For now, just really allow yourself to drop whatever you don't need. As we come into this sense of increasing stillness in our body and in our mind, there's a kind of settling in, the body starts to slow down. The biorhythms start to respond to these signs we've given that it's okay to rest, to relax. Our mind starts to release its stranglehold on our thoughts. And as things get stiller, as our breathing slows, as we start to release some tension, what we often find is that our mind is still running at full speed, thinking. It's completely normal that this happens. It's totally okay. This is what our minds are designed to do. They are thought-making machines. Thought that just continues ceaselessly, day and night. And there's nothing whatsoever wrong with that. That's natural. It's like the natural rhythm of our breathing, or the circulating of our blood, or the digestive processes. It's completely natural for the mind to think, to create thought. So when we come into a more relaxed and easeful state, what can sometimes happen is we notice how full of thought our mind is, how compulsive our thinking is, how circular, how completely consuming we are by thought. That can be really surprising. Or it may be something we know, and we try to meditate to slow our minds down, to clear our heads. But actually, we don't need to get rid of thought. We don't need to suppress thought. We don't need to be free of thought to be at ease. Rather, we just need to get a little space around thought, or to recognize that the thought is arising and falling away naturally in a larger space, which is our mind. And it's completely natural, and it's completely okay. And whatever arises, a good thought, a bad thought, negative thought, positive thought, desire, aversion, all of it, it's simply just thought. It's not good, it's not bad, and it doesn't say anything about who we are. So the key to meditation is really changing our relationship to thought. Instead of being really compelled by thought, stuck in thought, trapped by thought, defined by thought. It's just getting a broader perspective. It's stepping back from thought to see thought is occurring in us. It's not defining us. So let's take a thought right now and see what it's actually made of. There may be a thought we're having like, oh, my mind is so busy, or am I doing this right? Notice how fleeting such a thought is, how quickly it turns into another thought and another and another. Notice how kind of insubstantial thought itself is. How it pulls us up into our heads. How it creates this feeling of stickiness. We get stuck in thought. Let's really look at, instead of being stuck in a thought or swallowed by a thought, let's try a different approach. Let's look at how thought feels. What is the experience of a thought? So one way to do this is to see how thought arises and passes away quite naturally when we leave it alone, when we don't pay it too much attention. It can be surprising to see how thought is not made from anything solid at all. Let's look again at a thought that may be arising now. Any thought. Perhaps a basic thought like, what am I thinking? Instead of answering this thought with another thought, let's do something totally different. Let's look at this thought in another way, a radical way. Let's start with the last word. Let's put our attention on this word, thinking, thinking, thinking. Watch how this thought just kind of dissolves before our eyes. Now, the next word, I. Just rest the mind on this I. 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 Watch how this I kind of melts away. Then am. Am. It too kind of dissolves altogether. And finally, the last word, or the first, which is a what. What? What? We can just rest here with our mind softly held on this what. It's actually a very mysterious, a very open word, this what. And we can kind of lean into the space it opens, this what, until that too sort of dissolves. So resting now in this open space that the thought has dissolved into. Just resting in this open space between thoughts. You may find another thought arises. As soon as we see that thought, we can follow the same simple process. For example, if it's, am I doing this right? Start with right. Watch that dissolve. Then this dissolves. Then doing dissolves. Then I dissolves. And finally, am. Taking a while longer to linger on this first word, this last word, this strange and mysterious am. Not thinking about it, not jumping from am to a thought about what am is or might be, what it means, but just resting in this am and watching as it dissolves. So any thought that arises in our mind, we can explore in this way, looking at what is the thought actually made of. What are these words? Is there any real substance to thought? Is there anything real in thought at all? And not going to our minds to answer this question. Going to our experience. What do we feel? What do we experience? Is thought something we can touch? Something we can really define? Or is it rather something dreamlike, something transient, something that arises and passes like a cloud? Just feeling in to what thought feels like. Once we are kind of more familiar with this practice, we can start to explore what the thought is arising in. This space or this something ongoing in which a thought appears and disappears. What is that? What is that space? Resting gently in to this sense that there is somewhere, something in which thought arises and passes away, and bringing that into the foreground. and allowing thought to fall into the background. When we see our inner experience in this way, we realize thoughts are occurring to us like weather, and that they pass through us, and there is something that remains untouched by thought, untouched by good thoughts, by bad thoughts, by happy thoughts or sad thoughts. There's something completely even that, with total acceptance, allows everything to happen, is unaffected by everything. That something is our true nature, always here and always available. So listening now to the sounds in the room around you, feeling the sensation in your body, the floor beneath the feet or beneath your body as you're lying, starting to move your hands and your feet, wriggling the fingers and toes, slowly opening the eyes, and see as you do this if you can retain some sense of this space in us that the thoughts occur to, this acceptance, this wholeness, this refuge we have. See if we can stay connected to that as we emerge back into the day. Thank you for participating this week, and we hope to see you again next week. If you wish to talk to any of the Grief Care team members in the meantime, please call Grief Care on 029646 6908 or email team@griefcare.com.au. Have a great week.